Look at the scale of the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, 70,000 seats, built to host the absolute peak of human physical performance. Down on the dirt track, the stakes are highest. Sprinters tear toward the finish, muscles straining and lungs burning for a fraction of a second's advantage. Through the dust of the final heat, Wilma Rudolph crosses the line first. The crowd erupts as she becomes the fastest woman on the planet. But years before this moment, medical experts looked at this same girl and concluded she would never walk again. We must look at how a child whose legs were once fixed in heavy metal braces ended up outrunning every other woman on Earth. To understand the odds against her, we have to start in rural Tennessee. Wilma was born into severe poverty, one of 22 children living in a home with almost no resources. At age 4, the polio virus attacked her system. It began targeting the motor neurons in her legs, effectively cutting off the signals from her brain to her muscles. The doctors delivered a definitive verdict: permanent paralysis. They strapped her left leg into steel and leather braces, telling her family she would require them for the rest of her life. Her mother refused to accept the clinical data. She told Wilma to ignore the doctors, trust in God's plan, and promised her daughter that one day she would run. Wilma was caught between two realities: the physical weight of the steel on her leg and the certainty of her mother's conviction. Closing that gap meant years of grueling effort. It meant weekly hospital visits and painful physical therapy, where she fell repeatedly, often leaving her knees bleeding on the floor. She viewed the brace not as a permanent fixture, but as an obstacle she was required to overcome through daily repetition. At age 9, the medical projection failed. She stepped out of the braces and, for the first time, supported her own weight on the bare ground. This graph shows her progress against the clinical expectations. While the red line shows the doctor's prediction of paralysis, the blue line tracks Wilma's actual mobility, crossing the threshold at age 9 and climbing toward a full sprint by age 12. By the time she turned 12, the medical projections had been replaced by years of constant effort. She had taken a verdict of permanent paralysis and worked through it until it no longer applied. In 1960, the world saw the result of that work. Wilma dominated the Rome Olympics, taking home 3 gold medals in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and the 4x100-meter relay. Look at this confident face. The girl who was told she would never walk had become the most decorated female athlete of the Games. This trajectory from a wheelchair to an Olympic podium is the physical evidence of Matthew 19:26. With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. You might be facing your own version of paralysis today, a situation where every expert and every piece of data says you have reached your limit. Your current struggle isn't necessarily a sign of defeat. It is the training ground for a story that has not yet been finished. If God can take a child from a leg brace and put her on the world's highest podium, He can move you through your current despair. If you believe He still works miracles, type Amen in the comments and share this message to encourage someone else today.